Who's a fat boy?
Podcast Fat Boy.
Hello there. Welcome to episode 19, Podcast Fat Boy. We are back in the Charlie Bucket studio. There's been a little bit, this is the first time that we have taken over a week, and you know what? I thought that it would be best for everyone if I just got back on track instead of, keeping doing the Fridays. You guys are going out to the bars, you guys are dancing, and, I wanted to get back on track a little bit because it's a nice hump day podcast. Am I right? So, we're going to get back on track. Not sure when you're hearing this. If you're hearing it close to the date, sometime during World War III, if you found it in the crate digger pile where this kind of started, in the old crate digging folder, somewhere on what's it called? Internet Archive. Great hosts they are. They're great hosts though. So you really can't complain about free hosting service. But yeah, hopefully it's not World War III when you're hearing this. And if this is the only podcast you can get in World War III, I am sorry. But I hope that my voice brings you some joy. I hope there's some resonance to it for you that gives you a little bit of smile by the candlelight. You know what I mean? A little bit of smile by the candlelight. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird doing a podcast by yourself all the time. Whoa, sorry. There was when I'm doing this podcast, I get super hearing and I can hear the rain. Or does it sound like a rodent is scratching through my head? I'm not too sure, guys. But, there's lots of things that happen in the Charlie Bucket studio. You'd be happy to know that I got a voice audition, my first in probably over 6 months. And it went well. Guys seem to like me, but, I know I'm not going to get these things. I never get voice commercial auditions because... I'm kind of like a generic life brand of Advil. It works. It's going to be fine. It's going to be exactly like the real thing, but, it just doesn't have the same flash on the box. So I never expect anything from them. I've booked one thing. That was 3 years ago, almost 2.5 years ago. It won't be like that forever, right, guys? But, just the way it's going right now. Not super thrilled with the whole thing, but anyway, So another reason that it's been hard to keep on schedule is the Toronto Maple Leafs, my hockey team, are in the playoffs, and they play on Wednesdays and Fridays right now in the playoffs, which is the 2 days that I do the POD, and they've been doing well, and it's just been on top of work. I just couldn't fit the fat in. I wanted to chew the fat, I just couldn't fit it in. But we are back on track here a little bit. This might be a little bit of a smaller one. Some big stuff's happened in the last few weeks that we'll talk about. One of them being the proposed legalization of marijuana in the country of Canada. And I'll just break down a couple of things that stood out to me. Essentially, you can have just over an ounce of weed on you, and you can share with adults that same amount, I think. You can grow up to 4 plants at home. And, you can bake and stuff, too. It'll be interesting to see how they do this. I don't really care anymore because I'm not really that into weed as much as I used to be. But it's going to be weird to see an LCBO type store, which I guess would be like a MCBO. And you'll be able to walk up and down the aisles and shit and, pick what you want. And they'll have to, somehow... I noticed that there's a big conversation right now because the weed from dispensaries and the very strong weed that makes you fucking super nuts, it's got a lot more THC in it Like, it used to be when our hippie parents, man, were fucking smoking joints at Woodstock and fucking having a good time. You know, it was like 4% THC and then like another 4% CBD. But now shit's like 30 to 40% THC. Like, that's why I want to take my shoes off and dance the high out of me. And I get a hot, wet cloth and scrub my chest because I'm freaking out. And no CBD. Undetectable amounts of CBD. I think the CBD is a big key into the health benefits of marijuana and cannabis for the properties of pain management and whatnot. I think just getting super high is not what it's best for. You know, like, I don't think it's not like the higher you get, the more of a cure for something it is. But they're looking into this, like, you know, the government's going to have to make sure there's CBD because it also counteracts shit in marijuana with the THC that makes you go fucking crazy, which I have a couple of times on marijuana. There's a lot of cases of people having psychosis on it, and I've definitely had at least one or two times where I've been like, oh, I'm completely fucking insane. So that's coming. You know, Canada looks like next, not this summer, but next, we'll be legalizing marijuana for, you know, it's going to essentially drug dealers. I mean, I guess at first people will still go to drug dealers for weed because they're loyal or they're just used to their routine. But it's going to, like, drug dealers who sell weed, it's going to turn into like buying, a bag of cigarettes from a reserve. You know, it's going to have to be super cheap. It's going to have to really undercut the, you know, what you can get at the MCBO. Correct? Like, that's just how shit works. Only reason we pay drug dealers is because we can't get it anywhere easy. So yeah, I wonder if the people that I know that are into that kind of stuff, I wonder how what's next for them. They gonna move up on some shit, or are they just gonna buy shit from the MCBO and maybe get like sell it $1 cheaper, take a little bit of a hit, you know? I don't know. Get creative with your mixing and fucking tainting and all that shit. I was always so worried about buying drugs from people I didn't know. When I was at a party when I was in grade 9, some guys from the bad high school came by and sold us weed, and everyone's like, oh, it's laced with coke. And I remember having it, and I was like, I think it's just strong weed, but like, who would waste their like, coke's expensive. You wouldn't just sprinkle coke on weed and like sell it to freak out kids. That doesn't make any sense, does it? Financially, like, that's just a weird, that doesn't make any sense. So I don't know about the lacing of coke in that, but some of my friends got pretty screwed up, and the party I was that we were at, our friend's dad who lived there got in a fight with the guy that was selling the weed, like a fist fight. It was in grade 9. It was awesome. It was like, this is, I just wanted everything to be dazed and confused so bad, and that was pretty close to it. Like, like fucking big scrap in a farm party. A lot of fun. Speaking of the Leafs, when there's a team that you're cheering for that's in the playoffs of any sport, it always makes me think about how much they get paid to be supreme athletes and how ridiculous that is in this world, where really, if you start out and think about it, like, okay, well, where can I make the most money? Okay, it's a little different now. There's a lot of more options. I could create an app or some shit, but the good old-fashioned way over the last 100 years, or not even the last 100 years, let's say the athletes didn't start making money until like the last, let's say 30 or 40 years is when they started making serious money. So if you're a super athlete, if you're highly skilled in a sport, you can make millions of dollars. And these are the people we pay because they are part of the entertainment industry, and it's a system run on ratings and whatnot, and advertising, propaganda, etc. Sometimes I just step back and look at it and be like, these guys are not saving anyone's life. And I don't know how much I value a slight distraction from my own miserable life, that they deserve this much money. And I have to spend hundreds of dollars to go watch them play a game that they sometimes just like literally phone in and do not try. They just take a night off and get paid like $50,000 a night or something, it's nuts. So I don't know how I feel about that. Maybe when the war happens, like they're going to have to be on the front line. It's been all cute and fun that they're millionaires, all these supreme athletes, but let's put it to real work when we're trying to stop the brink of nuclear war. Let's put them on the front lines, and it can be like Pro Shots or whatever, that like Wayne Gretzky, Bo Jackson, Jordan cartoon where they're, using, basketball players can use bombs that are basketball shaped or something, and hockey players can shoot grenades like pucks. It'll be fun. Death will be fun. But go Leafs is all I'm trying to say here, okay? The weather's getting a little bit better, folks. It is a little dreary outside. But I'm getting the fitness itch because I'm not playing hockey anymore. Hockey's done until the fall, so I'm like, I went for an honest long bike ride to therapy last night and got some good exercise in. I felt good. I felt good, Kennedy. So I think I'm looking to do more of that. I bought some new bike lights. I got some new grip tape for my bike. I gotta, that's coming through Amazon probably in like a month or two. One of those weird purchases from Amazon that's like, I don't even think they know where it's coming from, but it's super cheap. Like I just bought like caps for my like the tires, for the air. I bought a bag of 100 from China, and it literally took over 2 months, I think. And I like checked after a while, and it said it was delivered. So I like contacted them. I was like, "This never came. You have my phone number and the address for some reason." So anyway, after that, it came in like 10 days. So who knows where it went? Somebody, if there's a place on this earth, the postal code is my phone number. They got like all these fun little plastic air caps for their tires. I'll never need to buy one again. So yeah, if you know me, if you're a friend that listens to the podcast, if you're just a new person that's, crate digged and crate dug, if you dug the crate for a little pod fat and you need a cap for your bike tire, you let me know. Tweet at me. I'll send you one of my mugs, because I still have those mugs I made from the first boot of the podcast that, not knowing anything about how things work and just being like, this is going to be an enterprise that I will succeed in, and I'm going to promote myself, and, didn't know what the fuck I'm doing. Like, look at me now. I'm sitting in my fucking bed recording this shit into my phone. So I got lots of cups, okay? Because I've only had like 7 or 8 guests, and a couple of them are repeats. So I still got like 25 podcast Fat Boy cups. If you guys want to do like a contest or something, I'll give them out. I was thinking about just like leaving them at different Goodwills too, just so that they're there. And it'd be kind of interesting if people are like, oh, what the fuck is this? I'll buy this for 10 cents. And they're a pretty good cup. Like, it's a nice deep cup. That's all I'm trying to say is, it's a decent cup. It's not a shitty thin one that's going to break. Like, it can take some damage. And you know what? You could probably melt my face right off and just have a nice white cup. It's going to go eventually. Like, it's just how dishwashers and scrubbing work. Shit'll peel off eventually. But, yeah, they're in my garage right now, probably getting, like, some gross rainwater dripped on them. So you let me know if you're interested. What else we got to talk about? Richard Simmons is back, and these guys, the fitness guru. We got to talk a little about Richard Simmons as being a fitness and health podcast. He finally made a little bit more of a statement about his whereabouts and health after the Missing Richard Simmons podcast, aired its final episode. Only did 5 or 6. It's been accused of voyeurism. I think it was like, I do think the guy that did the podcast didn't realize that maybe he wasn't as close a friend with Richard Simmons as he thought, or maybe Richard Simmons just didn't like him that much. But he finally came out and said, "Yeah, just my knee's fucked up. Sorry. Well, it might be back soon though." Showed a picture of himself, and you just got to tell your friends if you want to disappear though, Rich. Like, you can't just, that's like a shitty fucking thing to do. So I'm not letting you off, clear. And just because you're a weirdo doesn't mean you can just disappear one day and not tell people who love you where you're going or what, Silly. But Rich is okay. I've been thinking about downloading a copy of his Sweating to the Oldies and recording me doing it live. And I might just do a little clip for the podcast or something of listening to me do Sweating to the Oldies. I want to try it because it was a pretty huge fad in the 80s of Sweating to the Oldies. What else can I talk about today? I read an article on Science Daily that love handles are the new silent killer. The new silent killer. Now, the current silent killer is usually some kind of a heart ailment, right? There's always some, the widowmaker or whatnot. That's what's known as the silent killer. So now the love handles, the bacon bread that everyone's worried about, plumping out your jeans, that's apparently also a silent killer. You want to keep that waist in check, apparently, because once the waistline gets a little big, it's such a... Oh, yeah, of course, yeah. If you're too overweight, then you're going to have more health problems. That's just how it goes, for most people anyway. But they're saying that men should keep your waist under 40 inches and women should keep their waist under 35. So that's still pretty big, guys, because I think that's where my waist is probably 38, something like that, for going over my belly. Jesus, what the fuck happened to me? But yeah, I am losing weight so much that I had to buy a belt hole puncher because I'm not buying a new belt. I like my belt. But yeah, so that's another thing. If you need air pressure tire caps, or you need a new hole in your belt, let me know. I have one of those handguns now where you can put a hole in your belt. Very happy with that. I couldn't. It took me 2 seconds from when I opened the box. I was so excited to put a hole in my belt, and it worked fantastically. It's a little off center. Of course, I'm gonna have an off center hole. I'm never gonna have. I'm just too. I move too fast. I move too fast, guys. So anyway, now my ass won't hang out when I bend down or am cycling, which I'm a little self-conscious about. Okay, what else is going on, guys? People are cutting out dairy. All you millennials, a lot of adults, young adults, are starting to cut out the dairy. They're not guzzling the milk, and they're getting this article in the Huff Post saying that they're getting what you call it, osteoporosis. And I mean, I don't drink milk anymore. I probably haven't drank milk in years, probably 3, steady drinking milk, probably 4, oh God, maybe 6 years, something like that. Because there have been a lot of studies done that milk is not that good for you. Okay, anytime you're guzzling animal protein, it's just not good for you. That's why you don't eat much red meat. You shouldn't eat much, you should be eating little bits of meat and mostly having vegetables and fruit and stuff. No, you're nuts. You can get calcium and stuff from almond milk and soy milk and quinoa. There's all kinds of alternatives. So if people are, if the millennial idiots, because I'm not considering myself a millennial. Fuck that. If they are just completely depriving themselves of calcium, then yeah, that's stupid. Because any vegan will tell you that they're completely fine if they're, following their diet properly. Then they're going to find substitutes for calcium, and calcium's over fucking rated. It's also important to get vitamin D, and might be more important. So fucking get that. Take supplements. Jesus Christ. Fucking dairy. Fucking, if I have to see one more fucking commercial with some guy dressed up as a farmer, holding an egg like it's the world in his palm, I'm going to take that egg and cook it and eat it. Oh man. You know how it is. The last thing I really want to talk about, I never think that I'm going to get to the 24-minute mark, but here we are, guys. It's like 20 minutes. Jeez. I am going to try and get a guest on the next podcast because, especially going to therapy now, it's becoming a lot harder for me to do this, to just talk and rant about myself, because I'm already fucking talking to this guy about myself so much, and talking about myself like this, it's like cutting the fucking top of my skull off and just jabbing my brain with a dull butter knife. Dull, because they're already dull, even duller. So yeah, it's hard to go from that, especially because I do that Wednesday nights now, to doing the podcast. So, it's a challenge. It's a challenge. But I'm doing okay, mainly in pretty good spirits. I'm busy, getting busy bee, and the big Hawaii trip is coming up soon, guys. 2 episodes recorded in Hawaii. Are you excited about that? I am. Definitely. That is going to be a juicy pineapple in the crate. That is for sure. Last thing I want to talk to you about is, blogs and podcasts like this. People who are saying that you should do this, you should do that, and they fucking don't have any medical background, nothing. They're just fucking bloggers, or a fucking idiot like me, who's just a guy laying in a bed, Charlie Bucket studio. Don't listen to these fucking people. You got to talk to your doctor first before you do anything extreme, like inject turmeric in your fucking veins. Okay, I know turmeric's got all this, it's all the hype now, but some woman just died from having turmeric put in her fucking veins to clear up a skin condition. Fuck. So, yeah, like, if I ever say you should do this, mainly it's just my observances of, observations of the world and what fads are going on and what other people are talking about. But even don't listen to me and say, oh, I'm going to do what he said. Research the shit first. Talk to your doctor, and then after all that's cleared up, you can think about doing it. Don't fuck around with this shit on the internet. The internet it's just one loud shouting match now. And eventually there's going to be a solar flare coming from the fucking sun, and it's going to disrupt all the internet, and it's going to fuck up the world more than any nuke, dude. So get ready for that, because it's going to happen. It's just part of it. It's just fucking, the universe, man. That's how it works. I'll definitely be out of a job if the internet goes down. It gets fucking singed. If the internet's pubes get singed, I'm fucked. Yeah. Anyways, guys, I gotta go, because guess what? I gotta fucking set up for another podcast right now. I gotta do Confederacy of Dunks. We might be doing it live. So, if you guys just want to come check that out, we're gonna talk about fucking basketball, tall dudes running around with balls. Then you can, tune into that. Okay. Dunkspodcast.com. As always, thanks for listening. Podcastfatboy.com will take you to my site, and you can do your ratings and stuff there. Okay. Thanks, Bob Lurd. Thanks, Bob Lurd, for your rating. Really appreciate it. So this is me signing off, and I will see you next week.